Steady again. I just want to now read something that I once wrote in an essay for class and then like decided I didn't want in the essay, but saved in the notes on my computer. And I'm just gonna read out now. I've revised it a little bit with a little more Lacan in it, which I now realize I should have used to begin with and would have actually been a good justification for keeping it in that essay. Though I didn't, you know, all's fair in love and academia. A soliloquy by me. A subject, dialectically identified by Hegel, can only apprehend itself when it runs into another subject or object against which to recognize itself. Maybe I should cut object out of that sentence. Example, if only you existed, there would be nothing besides you, against or contrary or in relation to which you could define or recognize yourself. A subject may only see itself in another subject. Abstraction, as in modernist abstraction, gestural or otherwise, traps a painting in a dexical iconhood. Or, in other words, objecthood. Here's why. Modernist painting proposed the existence of an autonomous image. An image may be equated to a subject because a subject can very deeply identify with an image or itself as an image, as demonstrated by Lacan's mirror phase. This presupposes that because a subject can identify with an image, particularly its own, a subject doubles as a signifier or a symbol that denotes things other than, but also including itself. Hence, an artwork which may be identified as an autonomous subject, such as a Pollock, is actually either an icon, merely itself, or an index, a remnant of its own creation. But that inasmuch, because of its autonomy, it may only be that. It can never fully be a subject, because it exists only within itself. That is the point of Clement Greenberg's dogmatic, rabid insistence on medium purity. A painting's basic unit is the flat support. A painting, at its best, is image and nothing more. And nonetheless, this is conceived as an autonomous subject the viewer must stand and watch. This subject will never identify with the viewer. The subject will never interact with the viewer. The viewer can only view. The subject is an object, and yet it is conceived of as a subject. And yet there is nothing, no such thing as an autonomous subject exists. But it is still theorized by modernists, by the high formalist art critics like Greenberg and Fried. Nonetheless, a subject must always respond relative to another. Modernist painting is a bunch of objects, paintings on canvas, if you will, caught in a self-reflexive void within the constructive masculinist fiction of autonomous subjectivity. Parentheses, the Freudian desire for a unified whole, self unto self, alone, entire. Is modernist painting not simply an endless signifier splintering into infinite self-reflection? Certainly it is. I think they succeeded though. In spite of the apparent conflict between object and subject that the notion of an autonomous subjectivity presents, you know, if it's autonomous, it's not a subject. Only objects can maintain autonomy. Objects like cameras and algorithms. I still think they succeeded though. I think that these paintings, high modernism, high formalism is just a bunch of autonomous subjectivities looming, trapped within themselves, never able to recognize themselves as such. We must remember these paintings were made in their historical moment and are cursed to live in it forever. When you see them, they haunt you, their wretched forms, their stains, their splatters, their grand fields of color. There's just this endless, they live in a void. That's why the galleries in any museum which contain the mid-century modernist works have a haunted quality to them, in spite of their blaring, gaunt, white, frigid, well-lit nature. That is why the Met often has to close those galleries off early. These paintings are subjectivities trapped within themselves, cursed to experience nothing but precisely that. They can't be on display for too long. When viewing them, don't look over your shoulder and don't come too close. Be careful when you approach them. You'll hear what I mean if you're in there and stand quietly. After all, they have been said to